Hello, welcome to episode 278 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today I'm going to share all the things that I've been making in the last couple of weeks. So today we have some knitting, some crochet, a blast from the past sewing project, a gadget, which is one of my favourite tools at the moment, some information on what's occurring, including meet updates, etc. Some information on my shop update. I have got the September yarn clubs and the Stephen West mystery knit along kits that I'm going to chat about in that section, and then of course we've got a little appearance from Jensen at the end of the podcast wearing something new, and I will talk about what I'm wearing as well in that section so you can see full. It's a dress that I've got on, so you'll be able to see what I'm wearing properly. So today, actually, we've just gone past our 8 years sort of podiversary. How amazing is that? I can't believe I've been doing these for 8 years now. Time has just flown by. Thank you so much for watching, and especially for those people that have been watching from the very beginning. I really appreciate it. So, a little bit of a celebration. So because we've got an 8-year podiversary, I thought what better to celebrate than do a little giveaway. So if you'd like to comment in the comments section down below what you're working on, what project you're working on at the moment, I'd love to hear about it, and then I will pick a winner out of the comments on the next podcast episode, which will probably in 2 weeks. Next week I think I'm going to do a little vlog of one of my work days, but a sewing day this time. So make sure you put your entry in the comments section down below and I'll draw a winner next week. So let's get on with the knitting, shall we? We've got a few things that I've finished. I say but Liz has actually done quite a lot of this one. So this is the Pint size fade by Andrea Mowry. So Liz knitted most of this. I did the cast-offs for the cuffs, and I also did the knitting on the neckband, which is hardly anything at all compared to the effort made from the rest of the jumper. So the Pint size fade is a jumper that's made, obviously designed for children, and it is designed to use up sort of different colours that we can use scraps like I have. So I've used a total of 122 grams of scraps to make up this 4-year-old size version. It has got stockinette stitch on most of the garment, except for on the shoulders you've got a bit of garter stitch, which I think is a nice detail. So you end up blending from colour to colour. And then I've used a lot of the blues out of my stash, which I thought would be quite nice. Jensen is quite into blue at the moment. He used to be into yellow, now he seems to be into blue. It might be due to Bluey, maybe. I don't know. So I thought that this would be nice. And Jensen's already told me he likes it when he saw it on the blocking mats this morning. So I'm excited to get him to try this on. So this obviously is a 4-year-old size, and Jensen is now coming up to 3 years old in November. So it is knitted in a bigger size than he is, but I thought, well, it's best to get the most wear out of it as possible, and I'm always putting him in oversized clothes, so that's absolutely great. And 122 grams of leftover yarn used up, which is brilliant. They do an adult version of this, which I'm very tempted to have a go at. I think I could do one for Adam, actually, a similar sort of thing to this. That would be nice. We could do a whole family set of fade jumpers. So the pattern is the Pint size fade by Andrea Mowry, but I think the adult pattern is, I think it's just called a fade by Andrea Mowry. I will pop the links to these patterns in the description bar down below. At the end of the video, in Jensen's new clothes section, I will pop this on Jensen so you can see what it looks like on. But I really love it. So Liz was a bit worried about not having enough yarn for the arms, but what I got her to do was just basically start knitting on one arm, weigh what was left of the yarn before you started, and then sort of knit half and then use the rest for the other side. Obviously you've got some fade-in rows in there as well, but taking those into account. So I really like that, and I can't wait to see Jensen wearing it. So that is finished make number 1. You will see that modelled later in the video. I have a completely finished new project that you've not seen before, and this is a pattern. Now this is the cowl pattern, which is going to go with the 12 days frostbite kits for Advent. So if you do not want to see the pattern just yet, if you want to keep it as a surprise, I will leave a timestamp on the screen where you can skip along to, so you don't get spoilers of this pattern. The yarn is not the same as the actual kit, but the pattern will be shown in a few seconds. So if you don't want to see that, skip along to the timestamp on the screen. So I'm going to show it now. This is going to be the cowl pattern, and we have a snowflake in bubbles on there, which I thought was really cute. What I am going to do is, when I actually this is only my first sort of sample, I'm going to do the bubbles in a different colour so they show up a bit more. And obviously, because it's designed to work with minis for the advent, it'll be stripy as well, but then with the bubbles in a different colour, which I think will be amazing. I'm so excited about that, and that will show up a lot better when it's actually done in a different colour. But this is knitted in one of my own hand-dyed yarns in Frosty the Snowman, which I thought would be a nice appropriate colourway to do an all-over single colour version. And I will have some more colour versions with the stripy versions to show you when I've sort of sent that to test knitters and I've got another sample knitted up. But that is the snowflake at the front. I've just done one on there because I thought it would be too much with more than one, so you've just got that snowflake sort of. I like to put it at the side, but I'm really pleased with that pattern. I will be sending this to test knitters in the next week or so, so those of you who are on my test knitter list, you will be getting an email about that shortly. If you are on my test knitters list, you don't have to actually accept all my test knits. You can just select the ones that you want to have a go at, but this one will be sent out in a week or so, hopefully. I'm fingers crossed. I've only just started writing the actual notes up. I do a load of scribbly notes on a pad and then I write it up as a pattern. But there we go. This is the cowl. So it's a single wrap cowl. Just a nice little small project. And the idea when I designed this is something that's nice and easy to knit. And the only bit that's a little bit tricky is the bobbles bit, but actually that's only a small portion of the rest of the cowl, so it's a nice, easy, relaxing knit for the rest of it. So there we go. That is the Frosty the Snowman colourway, and I think I'm going to call it the Frost Cowl, but I need to check to make sure that I'm not duplicating the name of somebody else's cowl first, but that's my idea of calling it the Frost Cowl. So I think this is very slightly damp still because I only blocked it yesterday. But you can get the idea of what the pattern looks like. You will be able to see those bubbles a lot better when I actually knit them in white. My friend Jean suggested that I did them in a different colour, so thank you to Jean for that suggestion. So the next project I've got to show you is actually, Liz knitted this again, but she hasn't finished it, so I'm going to be finishing it off. So the mittens that I designed are going to be called the Alternathumb mittens, and Liz has knitted the actual main body of the mittens here, but I'm going to go in and finish the thumbs off because I asked her to stop there so that I could get some photographs of me actually knitting the thumb so that people could get a better idea of how to start, because it's a little bit unusual compared to most standard thumbs. So I will be doing that bit. But isn't this gorgeous in the plain yarn? You can see the cables a lot better. This is my Ice Baby colourway. I haven't got these colourways in the shop at the moment because I'm mad busy doing advents. They will be coming back in the shop in October time, so I will put a message out there when I'm putting some of these colourways back in, especially the Christmas ones, including Frosty the Snowman that I showed you in the last project. So I just wanted to show you how lovely the cables were in a solid yarn, and just to compare it with the original ones I did when I wrote the pattern. You can't see the cables as much because it's a stripy yarn, so the plain yarn you can really see those cables a lot better. So that pattern's with test knitters at the moment, and I'm planning to get it out in sort of between mid to end September. Between the mid and the end of September, so that will be available on Ravelry and my website. So that's in the works. I'm really excited about that. So that's my mitten pattern, but I have been working on some socks with Mum. Now me and Mum have been passing these socks between us, alternating on knitting the plain bits, and I've been doing the heels and toes, etc. So we have sock pair number 1. We have one finished sock. This is knitted in a West Yorkshire Spinners plain yarn. I can't think what this is the ball band. It looks like it might be colourway number, I don't know if it's 635 or 0149. I can't tell which is the actual colour number, but it's a bright blue anyway, and it's a solid one that I think I purchased to go with another yarn that I wanted to have contrast heels and toes, so I thought, well, might as well use it up. It's a lovely bright colour. So me and Mum have knitted one sock so far, and a bit more of another one I'll show you in a minute. So I do the cast on edge, Mum does the rib and the sort of plain knitting, then I do the heel and decreases, Mum does the plain knit down the foot, and then I do the toe decreases as well. So we've got that, and we have the leg of the second one done, so I need to do the heel on this one ready. I've got plenty of yarn left over, so there's probably going to be left over after I finish this pair. So that's pair number one. This is following my simple top down sock pattern, which is a free pattern on Ravelry and on my website, so I'll leave a link to that. That's pair number one. Pair number two is this gorgeous yarn. I love these stripes, and this one comes out a little bit thicker than the opal yarns. And this one is a flot sock, and this is a gorgeous yarn that is gifted to me by a lovely friend. So that's what the actual yarn. Apparently flot means quick. She's left me a note on the back. And it is very, very quick, because I can see Mum was saying that she didn't want to stop knitting on this because she was loving knitting all these colours together. So we've got one sock there, and I think we've got the same as the other one. We've knitted the leg, and I've got to knit a heel flap and gusset on this one. Plenty of yarn left over to knit to finish knitting the first pair. I bet there'll be a bit left over as well. So that's sock pair number two. This one again is my simple top down sock pattern. I've got one more pair of the simple top down socks. This is actually to the point where I need to knit the toe on this one. It's a grey yarn with little flecks of blue and grey in it, and this one is a grundle hot socks in a tweed, and let me see what the colourway number is. It's number 5 in the, and I'll just show you the label. It's colourway number 5 in this one. So that's coming up really nicely. I obviously need to do the toe and cast on the next pair before I send these back. So I've got a lot of sock knitting to do. All those 3 pairs are for my dad. I do have a pair that Mum's been working on for Adam. So this is a yarn that's sort of self-striping, and it is the Cascade Yarns Longwood Sport Stripe. So this is obviously a sport weight yarn. I actually bought this, I think, on either the first time we went to Florida or the when we went for our honeymoon. And I thought, well, I have to knit it for Adam because I bought it on one of our holidays. So I've got Mum to knit the sort of leg of this. And what I've got her to do this time, instead of doing the heel flap and gusset, because I wasn't quite sure, because it's sport weight, I wasn't quite sure how I'm going to do for the actual, you know, whether I'd have enough to do the heels and toes and everything with it. So what I got her to do is I cast on initially with this one and got her to knit roughly about the length I thought would be suitable, and then I cast her on with a second one to knit the same, and I managed to get it so that they've matched, because that's really nice, isn't it? A lovely matching stripes. I do have quite a bit left there, so I don't know whether I might, depending on what the colours are, maybe do the toes. I'll have a think about it, I think. Maybe do the toes in this, or maybe just choose a completely different contrast yarn to knit the toes, and I've got to cut in the heels using an afterthought heel method. So I do have a video where I show you how I split 100 grams of yarn into 2 pairs of socks by knitting an entire sock tube to use up all the yarn, but I use the same sort of method when I cut in the heel for this sort of thing. It's just that because I wanted to match the yarns, I've knitted the cuff down and stopped knitting on both of these, and then it does save me from splitting a tube, just stopping knitting these on the needles, leaving them on the needles, and then going back and knitting the toes, and then I can cut in the heels where I need to. And it just means that I sort of use as much yarn as possible, but make sure they match, and it means that Mum can knit quite a long tube without me having to do heels and toes and etc. She can knit quite a lot without having to have me having back and forth in between. So that's why we've done that. So we have got quite a fair amount of socks going on between us. So that is all my knitting I think I've got to show you, but I do have some crochet. Now I did think that I would have this completely finished by this episode, but no. I will show you my lovely neat pile though of squares. This is my Ariana cardigan, and the pattern's by Amy Cristoffers, and it's knitted out of all my lovely scraps of pinks and purples yarn. Now look at that. Ooh. There is another pile here of half triangles which don't look quite as neat because I haven't tucked all the because I've got all the ends to sew in on these ones, but I have done all of the outside round on all of these. I was going to leave that until I sort of joined them, but I thought actually I'm going to do the outside round on all of them the same because I was a bit worried about running out of yarn. I have 90 grams left of this colour to join them, and then I'm hoping that I might have enough to do the actual neckband and the cuffs and things with it. We shall see though. If I don't, because this is one of my colourways, I could always dye some up, which is a bit naughty, seems as I was going to do a scrap using challenge. I don't know, I'll see how it goes. I just do think that it would be nice to keep the colour sort of the same, because I've used so many different colours in these squares. They all have the same sort of layout though, in that they start with a sort of coral colour, go to a purple, go to a pink, go to a brown, go to a darker purple, and then again back to the coral again, and sort of cycle through the same colours. So all of the squares look very sort of similar. They're just done with different scraps of leftover yarn, which is brilliant. I'm so excited though that I've managed to use 477 grams of scraps so far on this cardigan. So the Ariana cardigan is actually knitted in an Aran weight originally, but I thought it'd be a lovely way to use my fingering weight scraps, and also I think it'd be a little bit lighter because I find that obviously crochet gives a slightly thicker fabric anyway, and I think I don't really like too many bulky clothes. I've already got a very thick chunky jumper which I only really reach for when it's really cold, so I'd like something that's a bit more sort of wearable for more of the year really. I don't like wearing too many thick layers, so I thought it'd be much more wearable doing it in fingering weight. There was somebody else who'd already done a fingering weight version, so I copied her and did 3mm crochet hook. I did my 9 rounds on each of my squares, and I just made it so that it was the same size as the Aran weight version, and then I worked out how many, I worked out some modifications. I do have a picture of the modifications that I've sketched out on a piece of paper on my Ravelry page, which I will leave a link to in the description bar down below, but I'm so close to actually joining them together. But they all look really nice now because it's exactly the same colour on the outside of the squares, which is lovely. I'm sorry that I haven't got any further with this. I just wanted to get the pattern for the cowl sorted so I can get that started to be test knitting, because I've got a sock pattern and a shawl pattern to finish in the next sort of month or so that I can get that to test knitters before the advents are sent out. So it's all busy at the moment in terms of sort of knitting and crochet projects. Because I've been doing designing projects, I haven't had an awful lot of time to do any sewing that isn't stuff that I sell in my shop. So I thought I'd show you a blast from the past. Now, I do sell these in my shop, but I did do a little tutorial to show you how to make these. So this is a little scissor case, and I find this really useful. This one is buttoned, but I do leave instructions on the video, on the free video tutorial of how I do a press stud as well. But it's just a place to keep your scissors, and then I keep my needles at the top here threaded through the fabric for sewing in ends, and then I pin some little bulb pins to the side of it, so it's like a little sewing in ends kit sort of thing that I pop in my project bag. So I think that these are really nice little quick little projects that you can get done in a couple of hours, and they're very useful. Good for Christmas gifts as well, if you're thinking about making somebody something who does a lot of sort of sewing or knitting. That is really useful. So there's a free video tutorial on my channel which I will leave a link to down below, but if you don't want to sew them yourself, then I do sell some of these on my shop, some of which are buttons, some of which are press studs. So but if you did want to ask for a press stud instead of a button, or the other way round on some of the ones that are listed, I'm very happy to make a different closure for you because they are made to order. So that is a fun little project that you can do. So the video tutorial is absolutely free if you wanted to have a go. So that is my little blast from the past. I do have a gadget to show you. So the gadget I've got to show you this time are these repair hooks. Now, I am obsessed with these repair hooks at the moment. This is a bamboo type, which is a clover make, and this one is a Knit Pro version, which is in more of a sort of fancier wood, I'd say. I don't know what wood it is. It doesn't actually say on the packaging, I don't think. But I've been finding them really, really useful, because not only do you use them as repair hooks, but I use the actual needle as a cable needle instead of using a standard cable, because I find that I do like the metal cable needles, because I'm quite a tight knitter. I like something that slides into the work nice and easily, but I do like the feeling of wood for a cable needle. But a lot of the cable needles have got ridges on them when they're made of wood, and I find that it snags on the yarn and I can't get it in and out very easily, so I use these as cable needles as well. So that's my little hack for the repair hooks. So these are both quite nice and smooth needles, needles on one end and a crochet hook on the other, so I'd recommend both of these. I have actually managed to stock both of these in my shop, but you might already have some of these in your stash and have not thought to use them as a cable needle. Of course, if you are quite a loose knitter, because they're quite slidey, you might find that they slip out a little bit, but if you're a tight knitter like me, you could use these as cable needles as well. So those are both really useful. And that is my gadget for this week. So we're on to the what's occurring section now. So we've got 2 meetups arranged for the next couple of months. We've got the lovely Venetia's yarn shop meetup. I did do a little reel where I showed some of the shop, but I didn't actually show the full shop, because there is a sort of area in the back with a big long table in which you can sit around and chat, and they do little yarny meetups there normally, but we're going to have Barbara's Day Out meetup there, and have a little knit chat, doing all sorts of crafts if you like, on the 26th of October, 2 till 4 p.m. So I'm really excited about that. Might have to purchase some more yarn as well. I did buy a Zyber ball the last time we went, which I haven't cast on yet, which I probably should. We have another meetup at Dunston Hall on the 17th of November at 2 p.m. at the Terrace bar. So I thought we'd keep the 2 going, because I think that Fakenham and Dunston Hall are quite a distance apart, and some people might find it harder to get to one, and so I'll keep them both going. I'm going to try and see if we can do once a month, but sort of alternate if possible, as if Venetia lets us come back after we've had a meeting there. We shall see. So those are the 2 meetups. I will leave details of those in the description bar down below. I'll leave links to the venues as well, so if you need confirmation of how to get there. Venetia's yarn shop, there is quite a lot of parking in Fakenham, which is sort of £150. After you've been longer than 2 hours, it's £150 for an additional 2 hours. Dunston Hall's free parking anyway, so they're both quite good places to park at, so that is good. The next section is shop update. So I'm very excited to announce that I've got some Stephen West kits coming along. But before that, I just wanted to quickly go through the September yarn clubs. So the September yarn clubs are available until the 8th of September. And we've got the music from the movies for September is Return to Oz. So that's some lovely autumnal tones. So that's going to be quite subdued, that one. And that's available in shawl kits, sock sets and single skeins. The shawl kits will be a full skein of the main colour and a full skein of the contrast colour, but if you do want 2 skeins of the main colour, just let me know and I can sort that out for you. The Pop Stars mini sets, this theme is inspired by Madonna this month, and we've got pinks and greens in there, which I love this colour combination, and that's available in 10 and 20 gram mini sets in a range of bases. So that's for your sort of blanket. I originally designed all these colours to go together for the Pop Stars blanket, so if you're making a blanket, they should go together well. And the colour of the month for this month is Ecuador. I did show this on last week's episode. I shall show it to you again, and I've done a little swatch in knitting and crochet so you can see how that comes out. The colour of the month Ecuador is specifically just for September, so it won't be available again. It's exclusive to this month. So there we are, that is the September yarn clubs, but we do have the new Stephen West mystery knit along kits. I was so excited for the Stephen West this year. I just love the mystery shawl knits. I probably can't afford the time to be knitting all that big shawl in the month, but you know, I'm just going to go with it and see if I can keep up. I just love the mystery of it and how he just does so interesting patterns. So I have put together 5 different kits for you to choose if you want to order these. These are only going to be available until next Monday, so if you want to buy these, I'm just going to have these available over the weekend, and these will be exclusive kits for this weekend, and then I will be down up next week and they'll be shipped on Friday so they can get to you in time for the mystery knit along. So they'll be exclusive to the pre-order. You will only be able to order them over the weekend, and then I will ship them on Friday. So these will be available in the shop this Friday, and it will be the 6th of September at 7 PM GMT, and they'll be available over the weekend, and then I'll start dyeing them up on Monday, and they will be shipped on Friday, or I might even get them out a little bit before. It depends how it goes, depends how many people order them. But I've got 5 colourways to show you. I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to pick yet, but so these are the kits. So this is the first of the kits. This is Carry On My Wayward Son inspired. That is actually one of the songs from the Supernatural series, which is one of my favourite series ever. So this is a very dark purple, then we've got a lighter purple with splashes of purples and pinks in there. I've been messing around with my speckling technique, and these are quite delicate speckles on this particular one, but I am thinking either this one, so that's Carry On My Wayward Son, or maybe this one. I don't know, I'm a bit stuck. This is May It Be. So this set is inspired by May It Be, the Enya song, and we actually chose May It Be for the song to go down the aisle at our wedding, so that means quite a lot to me. So I can't, the thing is, these are my normal colours. I would definitely go for these primarily, but Mum said go for something different, Ellie. Probably because she wants to nick it off me afterwards, I would say. So these are May It Be, and we've got a green and a turquoise, and both of these have got lovely speckles on. The turquoise has got sort of green and blue speckles on there, and then you've got the green has got green speckles on it as well. So that's one that is very, very, very enticing to me, but maybe I should go for something a bit different. So there's that one. I then dyed a very subdued palette, and this is Tell It To My Heart. We've got some pinks and browns and a very pale beige to go with it, so it isn't so sort of in your face. If you want to do a Stephen West but want it to be a bit more subtle, this would be a good idea. And this one is 1,000 Years. I thought it's a really beautiful song. Of different sort of pinks and burgundies in there. So there's that set, and I decided that this pink colour would also look nice with the beige as well, so I'm doing this set and calling it More Than Words as well, but they're the same colours as in the other sets that I've shown you. So they're all the kits that I've designed for the mystery knit along. Very excited to have a go at that. But the thing is, I've got quite a few shawls that are quite sort of pale colours like this, so I was gearing towards the, obviously May It Be, because they're my colours all over, but then the dark purples would be nice as well. So I couldn't quite decide. I will decide nearer the time. Which of those sets is your favourite, and or what colours have you chosen for the mystery knit along? It's called the Go Go Dynamo this year, so that'll be interesting what it'll be like. I assume that it's going to be quite sort of graphic shapes again, with the sort of triangles, maybe going by the artwork that he's put out with the advertising. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. I think last year's pattern I didn't enjoy knitting so much because there was the panels both sides of that slip stitch pattern, which I found it took me ages. Actually, I'll go and get the shawl to show you. So this is the Geo Gradient from last year, and I just did not love these sections here because they took me forever. I didn't mind, I think the rest of it wasn't too bad. I just did not like the outside. The border around the edge here took quite a long time to do, but I did quite enjoy the overall texture at the end outweighed the sort of pain of the knitting. So I didn't mind doing that bit. It was just these side bits, they just took forever. Oh, and it wasn't one of those things that you could just, like, it was sort of between mindless knitting and having to concentrate a little bit. This has been in the cupboard a while and it's starting to curl up on the edges, so I'm thinking maybe I should have put the tassels on. Maybe I'll go back and do it. We shall see. Hopefully I've still got the yarn somewhere on my stash and I haven't used it for something else. So that is the Geo Gradient shawl from last year's MCAL. I'm very excited to see what this one's like. Not that I need another shawl, but you know. It's all good fun. So now we're on the last section, so it's over to you, Jensen. So Jensen's got his pint-sized fade jumper on.
Yes, lovely
and
new
Mummy's
jumper.
Got her dress, which is I think it's a Joni dress by Tilly and the Buttons. Hopefully I've got that right. If not, I'll put it in. It's got a very frilly bottom, hasn't it? It hasn't got pockets though. He's telling you there's not no pockets.
Oh.
So be careful. This is why I've got leggings on. But this one I made a little while ago, but I wasn't happy with the fit around the bust, so I need to make it again. But we're off for a walk now in the woods. Do you like your jumper, Jensen? Yeah. Good. What colour is it? Blue. Yeah. So there we go, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Ding that bell if you want a notification of any new videos coming up. Next week I'm hoping to get a vlog video about my sort of work day doing sewing bags. So hopefully that will be interesting for you. So I'll see you next week. Bye!